And I think that the larger companies within the contact center space haven't supported this organization and association as much as we should have. And I think we can bring a lot of power to bear to address a lot of the challenges that we collectively face.
Why do a do-over? Why do a second time? A second time or a third time? Anybody from the current board members? Mr. Butch?
Currently, I am the head of the SME Council for CCAP. I am also the board had nominated me as the CFO of CCAP 2 years ago by default. But I guess the job is not done yet. There is a lot of work to still do. My organization, we are a small company, and we are starting to grow and hopefully be a good player in this industry. And to be part of the board actually has helped us, and me personally, from a growing company perspective, to be a recognized, credible player in this industry. So, just a lot more work to do, and be happy to do it.
Okay, same question to Bong, Mr. Bong.
Yeah, so for me, I think our being old in this industry allows us to build on the existing, to leverage on the relationships we've built over time, both within and within the industry and outside our industry, including government. So we built that over time, we've nurtured it, and I think we can still take advantage of it. Secondly, I've had this unique experience, I guess, last year when we did a big rescue, relief, and relocation effort for our team in Leyte of close to 1,000 people. And I'd like to, again, leverage on that and hopefully bring to fruit for our industry the experience that we've gathered there so we can better prepare the industry for events like this, considering that our weather is becoming wacky worldwide and it's bound to happen again. So I'd like to leverage on that. Thanks.
Okay, one more current board member can answer the same question.
Yep. So I'll follow that through. I guess being mature.
Or a veteran.
And I think for me, I follow two themes in being a board member over the last 6 years, which is essentially relevance and support. Relevance, I say, is that our association would like to actually provide our members with relevant programs and programs to be able to actually really represent the membership to the business community and to the government and to the other stakeholders. And support, I think, is following through with what Bong mentioned. I think we've been able to really nurture those relationships with both the private and the public sector in order for us to be able to ensure the growth of the industry as well as the relevance of the association.
Okay, thank you so much. I'd like to ask another a third question, and this time I'd like to address it to Ms. Josephine. Okay. All right. So your organization is quite new.
Yes.
With the Contact Center Association. So how do you see yourself as a newbie? What kind of contributions can you make?
Okay, for healthcare, our advocacy is to contribute to support this industry because we believe that there is no successful business if you have a sickly workforce. So IntelliCare is here to partner you to promote and contribute to the cost management of your company. Cost management in terms of healthcare management.
The question is, and anybody can actually also respond to this question. Assuming you get elected, as a member of the board and you will serve a 2-year term, what kind of legacy do you wish to leave behind?
So, a couple of things.
What do you want to be remembered by?
Okay. I've been in the industry for the last 14 years. I saw CCAP. I was one of those proponents, founding members, actually, when CCAP was still in its infancy. And I'm now in an organization that probably was born here in the Philippines in 1986, and over 20,000 employees that truly showcase the Filipino talent. And I think, I want to make sure that when I get elected, we continue to be at the forefront, be ahead of the outsourcing space. And secondly is, I'm able to contribute to something that is probably really close to our hearts, which is probably, developing talent and retaining them. And that's probably what I'd like to contribute.
All right, very good. Same question to Mr. Salazar. If you're elected, what legacy would you like to leave behind?
We're a new member of CCAP,
Yes.
and we're part of the healthcare organization, but we see a lot of opportunity in combining voice and healthcare. It's such a powerful combination. I think that's why it's one of the largest growing sectors. So we're a member of that, we're a participant of that, and we want to build and grow that. It's a niche within voice. The combination of healthcare and voice, clinical and voice, is such a powerful combination. We have 25% of our annual graduates are healthcare related. Such a big combination we're not able to tap. I think it would provide another curve. If it's for the voice, it would provide another window opportunity for growth. The other angle we really want to push is tier 2 and tier 3. I'm sure many of our colleagues here have been pushing tier 2, tier 3. I really want to push that because we see a lot of opportunity for growth beyond the metro areas that we're in.
All right, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Danny Cuevas, President of Capstone. He's also a candidate. Mr. Cuevas, a surprise for you, you have to sit in front. What is the one thing? The question is, what is the one thing you wish to change in whatever you see?
Okay.
Why?
The one thing I'd like to see changed or implemented is how we treat regional potential CCAP members and CCAP members. For instance, if one of my the reasons why I'm here is simply because I would love to be instrumental in setting up a Cebu chapter of CCAP. I personally believe it would be very significant for CCAP as an entirety. There is potentially a lot of people outside of Manila who find it very difficult to travel to Manila. They don't have the time, and we could literally replicate what we do here in Cebu. I'm based in Cebu, and I make the effort to come up here on a very regular basis, and quite frankly, sometimes if you don't book ahead, it gets very expensive. You nearly pay Western air flights, flight rates. So if we can do that, I know personally, I know probably at least 12, 15 potential members that would join if we had a CCAP chapter. So this is what I'm here and I'm trying to do, and so I'm appealing to your good nature and your fairness to broaden the whole CCAP experience, and please help us to do that. I'm based in Cebu, and I'll be very determined to make sure that that happens in that sense. Like Butch, we're only I'm an SME centre. We run a small 600-seat call centre, and unfortunately, next to the gentleman next to me, Steve, that's like a little canteen staff. So but SMEs seem to be can do, will do, and do people. So given the challenge of setting up a chapter in Cebu, I would gladly embrace it and hell or high water bring it to fruition. Thank you.
Same question to the person who has the microphone, Mr. Danny Cuevas. I'm sorry, but you have the mic. The question is, you've known Sika for a long time already, Mr. Danny, you know, and what's the one thing that you want to change about the organization, about the association?
You know, I believe in observing and learning before you start talking. So it's kind of unfair that you step in and all of a sudden you have this slew of programs that you'd like to implement, not knowing the background to some things. So if there's something that I'd like to change, probably, and this is a way out, right? The assignment of the board is actually finite, right? So that means there's a time they don't have the luxury of all the time to fix the problems or implement programs. So I think if I was gonna come up with a safe answer, I would say that we probably have to change priorities or have people have at least more of the members actually involved, and then plan it out, prioritize the plan, and then execute it better. And given the time that we have.
Joe and Benedict in succession. Okay, the question is, you've been in the association for many years, and you know, it's no secret that everybody knows that you've given a lot. Okay, what more can you give? What more?
Delikado yan.
That question is specifically designed for you.
Are you really sure you want to ask me that question?
Why not?
No, but I guess just for the information of everyone, this is actually the first time I'm running for a board seat. My seat in the board for the longest time has been because I'm the executive director, so automatically I get a seat, right? So now that I joined a private company running an IT outsourcing company, and at the same time, you know, I was the honorary member of the board of directors of CCAP, and I retained the corporate secretary of CCAP until up to this time in the next couple of months. So, same with the other candidates. I think I'm also scared because I don't know whether you guys will vote for me as being here for the longest time, right? So. To your question, there's still a lot of things. There's so much, I guess, things we can do for this industry to make sure that we'll continue to grow further. For the longest time, we wanted all the members to get involved in all initiatives. Unfortunately, we get only a few members really getting involved, helping the association, joining the committees, attending meetings like this, right? We have how many members now, and I think within the room right now, it was announced with enough number of lead time, and yet there's only 50 companies or 60 companies tops. The best number of members who participate in our general membership meeting was around 75 companies. But there's still quite a good percentage of people not showing up. And yet, you will hear some members complaining about they're not getting any benefits or sort of. But how can you get the benefits if you're not really participating? So now I guess the call and what I would probably challenge everyone is get involved. It's not about who's the board of directors, but it's about all of us working together, addressing issues of our industry. Right?
Benedict? Same question?
Jay, I don't know where you got the idea that I want to give more, no? So, but let's assume that I want to give more.
I'm thinking in terms of...
No, for me, there's three reasons why I do and why I keep doing what I've been doing for the industry association. One is it is my personal passion. to actually have been part of the beginnings of the industry and see it and be part of it and benefit so much from all that growth, personally, professionally, and also amongst my colleagues. It's been a blessing for me. So it's always been a passion and will continue to be a passion in my opinion. The two other things that I think I can say I've been able to provide is commitment and effort, and that also means time, right? So if I think about those three things, in my opinion, those make up some of the best traits of any board of trustee. Do you have the passion for the industry? Can you commit? And are you going to give time? Now, those are the minimum. I think intellectual capacity or brilliance is a given, because for you to be captains of this industry and to be a nominee in this particular stage, it means that you're terrifically talented, smart individuals who run your businesses. So it's not really that's going to distinguish, I think, who's going to be a really value-adding board member, but really more around passion, commitment, and effort. The reason why I think the next couple of years are going to continue to be interesting is, although we've been in the industry for many years, some of us since the beginning, 15 years plus or minus, you've seen transitions in the industry. You saw it from its infancy, when we were just trying to define who we were to the rest of the world and trying to attract anybody, right, to actually come here. So that was like the proof of concept. And then we went through rapid scale and growth. And now you're looking at, where do you go from here? Where do you go collectively together with the non-voice? We're 1 million people. Where do you go from 1 million at hyper growth with all of the changes in the business environment that's driven by technology, generation change, and all that? So I think, despite the fact we've been around 15 years, it's actually going to be incredibly different again for the coming years, given that it's a very different environment right now. So that continues to excite me, to help figure out how we're going to navigate to continuing success, given all of these changes that are going to happen.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let me ask this question. Anyone can answer. Okay, anyone can answer. And Benedict actually talked about this, and anyone of you can answer this question. How much time are you willing to give? If elected, how much time are you willing to give? Well, it's not an easy job. Yes.
Actually, I'll
Brad.
get right answer that. I'll be able to give lots of times, because have you ever traveled on PAL flying from Cebu to Manila and back?
Yeah.
I'm talking days here sometimes. Sitting on the tarmac for 3 hours. Oh my God.
Good answer.
I'll be able to give more time.
Good answer. Mikey?
Yeah, let me follow up to what he said. I've been stuck in traffic all this while, all the time in Metro Manila.
From Quiapo.
From Quiapo, Manila, all the way here, vice versa. Thank you, Waze. Whoever made it, fantastic. You guys just have to trust what they tell you to go to. But you just lock the door wherever you pass.
Okay.
But anyway, getting back to what he said, time and commitment is there, the passion, the energy, because we're new guys coming in, willing to learn from the
veterans.
The veterans. We're the rookies and the free agents. So I guess what's important really here, and maybe a campaign slogan I'd like to say, is get involved. Wow. I heard it from Jojo. That was really what I wanted to say. I've had a chance to work with the Procurement Council and some other people, and I believe the success of what they've been doing is the fact that they're all involved, spending so much time and effort in doing that. And that's really one of the things that we have to focus on. If we bring this all together, we'll beat the whole world.
Very good. Anyone? Okay.
Since
Miss Josephine?
we accepted the nomination, so I, for one, will contribute 100% to this institution, because we want to learn from your expertise, and we would also like to share our expertise in the healthcare industry.
Okay.
So we believe that really we need to support this organization, because you contribute to the wealth of the country.
Okay, one more?
Right, yeah.
Mr. Bong? Okay, 2 more.
So I not only commit my time, my personal time, but my entire team's time. So I throw the weight of my entire team behind it, and the whole of EGS as well. So the commitment is not only from myself personally.
Wow.
Actually, you beat me to it. That was exactly
Mr. Salazar.
That's fine. We're a new organization, and we've been active in many of the different committees, especially the newly formed ones. We've been getting more exposure. But I think it's also partly how much you give, you also get back in a different form and shape, and it multiplies, twofold, threefold, even tenfold sometimes. So we're really committed, and we're willing to put in the investment because we think there's a lot we can contribute to the industry.
Thank you so much. I have a question passed to me, and I will read it verbatim. Okay, anyone can answer the question. It reads: is the board ready for new leadership? That is the question. Anyone? The question is the board?
I'll answer that. No, I welcome new. I welcome additional members of the board all the time, right? So I think it's great to hear new perspectives. It's great to see new energy and new enthusiasm. Also very supportive of diversity in the board. So I think they're most welcome. I think the only challenge I would have to admit for those who have been in the board for a couple of years, like myself, is that sometimes we already see things in a certain way. So it's great to have somebody actually come in and say, I have a different point of view, and for us to actually learn from those point of view.
Okay, very good. Anyone want to second that?
Yeah, I think.
Mr. Cuevas?
I think the question is not, is the board ready for new leadership? I think it's the members ready for new leadership, right? Since you guys are the ones who's going to choose who your board will be, do you think it's time to change the leadership? At least with the old leadership, I'm not part of that, by the way. At least the old leadership, you've seen how they worked, how they've dedicated their time, their resources. As a matter of fact, the only reason I took the nomination was whoever made that mistake, I needed to respect that. Okay, so somebody nominated me, so I said, I guess he was drunk or something. So I said, might as well take it.
Personally, I took the primary representation of Teleperformance because I didn't think that we put our weight behind the association. And so I don't see, I guess besides Benedict, any of the top 5 BPO employers sitting here on this stage. So I think that we can give more to the board and support the industry as a whole. And so I think, I didn't run the last 2 or 3 times. One, because I just didn't have the bandwidth to give. But now that I do, I think it's really important that companies like Teleperformance really stand up and support the industry.
Okay, Ms. Ayi, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, so I don't think when we mean change, it means that we don't like the old one and we want the new one, right? I think, we just want new perspectives and to diversify some more. Not necessarily based on gender, as what I have said at the onset, but it's also true. But for example, from where I'm coming from, my organization is only 30% boys, right? While I have expertise also and knowledge on the actual contact center process or piece, I have a lot to share when it comes to F&A, procurement, HRO practices, sales and fulfillment, because that's what we do. And I think, it's time to diversify even from a service delivery offering and not just be focused on one aspect of the process. So I think it's good to get a lot of perspectives across the board and be able to contribute more in the growth of the industry.
Okay, Ms. Sheila, how about you?
Just going back also to the commitment. Actually, I have to say this because you're seeing me in front now as one individual. However, we as an organization in the company has sat down actually and have discussed about our engagement to be part of the board member. And everyone in the team, in the organization of Enterprise Group, is also committing in case we get a seat in the board. We've actually had initial talks with our corporate communications team, whereas there are existing and upcoming CSR programs